Countdown.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
I'm the man, and the man feels no pressure. I am the man that everyone fears.
You are now entering the vicious circle.
You are facing a fuel-injected suicide machine!
I'm the man. When I walk, the ground shakes. I am the master. I am the ruler of the world. They have been waiting below the surface. Shake the earth up, make the giants run. Shake the earth up, make the giants.
Welcome to the Vicious Circle. Sid, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Rob. How you been doing?
Good. I've been having a great day. How's your day been?
Man, it's been really good. Really good.
Yes, we got a lot of people already jumping on here where it says we're going live. Merry Christmas from Stuart. Oh, and then Jeremy here says Merry Christmas, Rob and Sid from Imperial, California.
All right. Merry Christmas.
Kurt says Merry Christmas, Rob and Sid. Like everybody is saying Merry Christmas.
Well, I hope everybody is having a very good Christmas today.
Exactly. How's the weather in your area?
It's cold. It dropped off like I guess most places across the country had that big cold front come through everywhere. It was like 22 degrees here last night.
Oh, so
It
it's
was
almost like it is up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we actually have snow. I think
I
I
saw
sent
that.
you a little video.
I saw that little video. That was pretty nice to see that. At least
Yeah.
someone had snow on Christmas.
Exactly. Nope. And here is Val. Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas, Val. And Happy New
Yes.
Year.
Oh, and Marty, everybody's saying Merry Christmas. This is so
Good.
awesome.
This is awesome. I told you, Rob, Christmas used to be the biggest night for wrestling at one time. Maybe it'll be the biggest night for podcast, you know.
I think so. Oh, dear. Even Dr. Stevel said Merry Christmas
All
to
right.
Sid and co-host Ron. Oh, that's cold.
Yeah, hey, Steve. Be nice.
Uh-huh. Oh, what a guy. Now, we were a little late coming on because Macho Santa was supposed to be here to
Right.
name some names. We're having some technical difficulties. So after we're done our show, we're going to hop back on and Macho Santa will be here to call out the names for all those prizes he has to give out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were laughing pretty hard him a while ago.
Yeah. I know he was getting frustrated too.
Yeah, he was.
Technology is just
Yeah.
annoying.
He actually made me feel smart, and that's pretty hard to do. The technology, anyway.
So now, one of the things that you were texting me today was about a couple songs.
Yeah, I heard a couple today. It was Christmas blues songs the last couple of days, for a couple of segments. And one you got, I think, the lady's name. The song is called "There Ain't No Chimney in the Ghettos,"
Yes.
and that was a really good blues song right there.
Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings.
That Kings, there ain't no chimney in the ghettos. And then I didn't hear this one. I was the same lady that I took the meal to on Thanksgiving. I took her a meal for Christmas and a Christmas present, and I was out of my truck to give her the Christmas meal. A song came on, and I know it has to be pretty good. I haven't heard it, but I'm gonna throw it out there for what it's called. It's Clarence Carter, "The Backdoor Santa." So we can only imagine what that's about. Remember that song? You remember Clarence Carter, Rob?
Yes. His big
Okay.
hit was Stroking.
Stroking. So we can imagine what Backdoor Santa is, right?
And I'm very curious because I looked, it was released in 1968.
really.
Yes. So,
But then I heard a couple of those. Now I'll tell you what. There's when I think about wrestling, and I don't know why it's not really it's not a Christmas or a wrestling song, but it does make me think of wrestling. I heard it the other day. I was in Memphis. It was a song by Patty Loveless. It was called, I think it's called "There's No Leaving Harlan Alive," and it would be talking about Harlan, Kentucky. It was just coincidence that was one of my first road trips and my first full-time territory working when I was working in Continental. Me and Bruno had left where we were living in Birmingham, Center Point, and rode up to outside Knoxville in Somerville or Somerset, Kentucky, and then we did Harlan, Kentucky. We had heard about it. It was like the most notorious place to go. The fans were just. I heard from things they carried chainsaws and this and that. They were
oh,
just
wow.
not scared of wrestlers. You didn't give them crap. They really heal people too. So, but that's a pretty good song. And outside of Patty Loveless too. This is I'm not saying I don't think she's great. She's not. She's got some good stuff. But this is one I heard from her that is really good. I think it's the best one I've heard her sing. And it's got like sort of like good ballad type of deal. But I think it's "You Won't Leave Harlan Alive." And then I haven't really picked out a song. There's an artist too I've thought about that I've heard a couple times the last few days on the station I listen to. Is Valerie June. You ever listen to her, Rob?
No. Well, okay. I listened to Weevil, so I may have heard her, but just
Right.
not the name.
I saw her the first time years ago on PBS on Austin City Limits, and she was just she's got some cool stuff, man. Really does.
Nice. Never's got a question here. Whose living room is that with the Christmas tree? Looks like a room in the Oval Office.
Yeah, that's actually my man cave.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know where Rob came up with that.
I Googled Christmas atmosphere, and that was the first thing that popped up.
Good deal.
Okay. So tonight's topic, we're going to get into AEW.
Right.
I did have one person here. Oh man, the comments are going by so fast. There was a really good question. I am just trying to find it. Here it is. Stuart Cox said, "Sid, for many years you were probably on the road doing work with WWE or WCW during Christmas. What is a good Christmas story for the road that you have?"
Let's see. Probably the time I helped the Grinch steal Christmas. Everybody was asleep. I forget what town I was going to, and everybody in the car was with me was asleep. And all of a sudden I seen this sleigh with a bunch of stuff behind it with some stupid little dog pushing the sleigh. And it sort of came to a stop there in front of my car. It was snowing. Anyway, I'll tell that story some other time.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Right.
Well, tonight to help us talk AEW, and I hope everybody out there has got some AEW questions because that was a very interesting show. We had a band at the Chatham-Kent International Film Festival called Fighting Grace. They came out and played. And this gentleman is the lead singer of that band, and his name is Jeff Allen. Jeff, how you doing?
Hello, everybody. Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. So, you guys both I only got to watch the first half of Dynamite because apparently wherever I was watching it, I don't think it was 100% legal because I started it, I stopped it, I went and did something else, I came back, and it was gone. So
Tony Khan got it.
I don't think it was a legal streaming site that I was on, so I have to find another one. So I only watched the first 3 matches.
Well, this past week, because it was at a different time, I didn't watch it at all.
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah, it was on later.
Yeah. What it was is preempted or pushed back, and it didn't say live, it said new, meaning it's probably had been taped. And what it was what got them was pro basketball, and I was watching what night was Wednesday night? I forget what I was watching, but I ended up watching something else.
Well, this was interesting because when Jeff first came on to talk about it, he said he didn't know what the ratings were. So I looked him up. And it says, last night's Holiday Bash edition of Dynamite averaged 775,000 viewers on TNT, down 3.8% from last week. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right.
And this is on a night where AEW aired 2 hours later than NXT.
Right.
NXT on the USA Network, running unopposed, averaged 698,000 viewers, down 8.9% from last week.
Wow.
So,
Well, people just hate wrestling.
that's-
I guess.
I think it's more so last week with the AEW, I can see the blip being that 3.9%, a good part of it being the it's normally on at 8, it was on at 10:30 here. So people just don't want to stay up that late maybe to watch wrestling. I do, but I'm up till 3 a.m. anyways. But I think with the main brand, and this could just be me, and I was talking a little bit with Robbie about this before. Myself, I've been dedicated to watching the main brand through the years of stuff that maybe got bland. And even myself now, I've watched it since I was 3 years old, and I'm almost at the point where I'm just sick of spending 2 or 3 hours watching a product that's not entertaining me other than maybe a couple promos here and there and one match or two out of the card. And I feel like AEW is at least getting the entertainment aspect where maybe some production errors occur, whatever, they're new, young. I think the main brand's just getting a little bit boring for a lot of people.
Well, there could be, and I don't know how the ratings go, but when you hear that you would expect that AEW would be down because they're in a different time slot. They came on about the time they normally go off. But you would think automatically that the other show would get more viewers, right? You would just think that, right? So I wonder if it's possible that the two shows actually do help each other. Maybe are the people turning off back? Is it possible for the TV networks to know that I'm turning back and forth that often that you can count me watching sort of both shows? You know what I mean? Could you catch me that? I don't know.
That would make sense. I remember even back in the
because they were both down. The other one was down a little bit more than the other, right?
Yeah, NXT was down 8.9 and AEW was down 3.8.
So almost twice, a little more than twice as much. NXT was down.
That's a good question. I never thought about those back and forth channel viewers.
And that would make sense. I used to do that with the family back when it was you're switching between WWF and WCW, right? And I can see that being a total reality for sure.
Well, I'm sure this is the first time I ever, this is the first time, Rob, we've actually looked at ratings and made, trying to figure out what's going on. So I'm sure we're sounding pretty stupid to a lot of people right now. Of course, that's what's happening, y'all. But no, I wonder if that's what happens.
Tom has a very interesting question about AEW. Sid, how similar do you think AEW is to how WCW was in the 90s? Merry Christmas.
It's close, but not. It's in the same direction, but not close. Meaning they try to be, at the same time, WWE versus WWF, they were better wrestlers and had better talent. At one time had a much better talent. Can't say, I think sort of the opposite. I think they have better wrestlers, and I think WWE has better talent and better production. Like they've always had better production. But this to say, I've compared the Young Bucks to Rock and Roll Express. Other than the Young Bucks are much better, even they're 1,000 years apart, their bodies are about the same. And that's the weird thing, right? They should be much better fit than they are, to really stand out. Whereas the WWE guys look much better production, but they're just not they don't look as good. They're not having as much fun. Or they're not coming across to us, or at least to me, like the other company is.
Chris here mentioned, he goes, I can only watch Ring of Honor and Raw. I'm rocking the antenna in the boonies. And he said, you don't sound stupid.
Well, the thing about I watched Ring of Honor the other night for the first time. God, is it horrible. God, it's horrible. I don't know what, maybe first time, and maybe I just got a bad night, but this didn't make any sense to me. But it looks like the WWE a little bit with all the, how they're trying to groom these people's characters before workers. You know,
Hmm.
The one thing I
again,
noticed,
Yes.
WCW seemed polished next to the WWE at that point, like during the 90s Raw Nitro Wars.
well, no, they did because at that time a lot of the guys were from the WWF there. You know,
Right. But that
You know what I
doesn't
mean?
necessarily mean a polished product, because
Right.
I now flip to AEW and you can see AEW trying that,
right,
but it doesn't have that polished feel.
right.
I think where AEW has, or what they have, excuse me, different than WCW had back then. And Sid, if I'm only a wrestling fan that watches YouTube videos and gets whatever third party, fifth party information I can find.
Right.
So you can correct me on this, of course, because you were there. But wrestlers talk often about how WCW, after a little while, maybe not right in the beginning of that 90s run, it sort of just went off the rails with everybody doing their own thing because of all the different contracts that everybody had, the creative control this, creative control that. And you hear the stories of how it was a little bit chaotic behind the scenes, and where I feel AEW has a little bit different. Of course, if that was true, AEW's chaos is simply just the production getting that all straight, which I think this week, the Holiday Bash, was the best production value that they've had since they came into existence. I was very impressed. Even the beginning sequence, it was a noticeable difference in quality. But I think that's what AEW has, is as far as what product they're putting out. The chaos isn't necessarily with the product behind the scenes, in the ring with the work and the storylines and whatnot. It's more so the camera production, the cutting to different shots, the accidental flash of a promo in the middle of JR talking, and the things like that.
Well, from my understanding, they're almost identical to WCW. And I've heard just a couple people that I've talked to saying they've heard personally, they're there, heard Jim Ross overspeak that these guys aren't listening anymore. They don't know what they're talking about. That's the same thing they were saying WCW. There never was any you said where the guys had got provisions or contracts where they didn't have to do things. Only one person had that, and that was Hogan.
Okay.
But it still happened in a weird way. I've talked about it about 1,000 times. I'll give you the same story I use. It happened to everyone, though. Everybody did the same thing. Once the WCW, it wasn't like that at first. Really, the only person you had to worry about that didn't want to do business, or it was always a crybaby about it, was Sting. There was a few, like Stan Hansen didn't want to do it. They preferred to do a count out before doing a. To me, I love giving the people a finish. I've talked about before. I used to get fined for doing that when I was told to do a count out, and I'd put someone over. But it didn't ever hurt me. But again, here's an example. Like, and this is what I see in AEW, and I see it in WCW. Is like, I heard this firsthand. Arn, who's a great, is I'm sure is still a great agent, had great idea for finishes and stuff. He'd come to someone like Disco Inferno and say, "Let's just do this simple finish." No, just a finish, and then Disco would go, "Well, can we do this? Can we bump the referee and have another referee come bump him and have the third referee come in and sort of cause me to flip over?" No. Just stop that. Just do this. So it happens. Now, someone asked me, does it happen in WWE? It doesn't happen. It does, but it does in a different way. They'll do it sort of same thing instead of giving finishes where they should. With these, same things where a heel just walks away or a person just walks away, or they do these things where they involve 72 people from the back, things like that. It's just because they're afraid. That's sort of their way of saying, you know what, we really think a lot about you. We're not going to really get you over, but we're not going to just, put the axe. Again, it's just their way of saying this is someone we're protecting, and it's sort of stupid. Because no one,
Right.
You're not getting to your objective. You're getting there, but just a little bit, So it's happened in both places.
That's fair.
I think what it was for me too, like just watching the first match from the Holiday Bash, it was Jericho and MJF versus Top Flight. And this is what I mean about you can have the WWE talent, but it may not be the polished. You could see spots in there that they were trying really hard to get across, but unfortunately, the timing of all four people was way off, and it looked horrible.
Right.
But yet, the ones that they did nail, they made look amazing.
Right. Now, hold on just a second, Jeffrey. Let me tell Rob something. Rob, you remember I told you something about when AEW first started? I said, what'll happen with these guys, they'll either show what they are or what they are not, right? And every time you say you see a spot like that, and I've said that over the weeks, I'm seeing the same spots, the same group, Jericho and that same guy, all these dead spots where the videos, the baiting in the ring, all those were just dead times. If I would have to say it, those, and I don't look at the ratings, but there would be times that people are turning the channel a little bit. Again, you keep having that through a lot, and you keep having more of those in your shows, and people are going to go, hold on a minute. Let's see what that other show is looking like. And if they get something going over there for you to turn the channel, I thought about this too. We talked about, Rob, the death sentence and pretending one existing territory is taking over another. Vince did do it all the time too, when they pretend Raw is evading SmackDown. Or so, for NXT, I'm sure they're thinking about this. I didn't think about this the other day, how stupid for me to take this long. They're waiting just, okay, we're going to let these guys, just barely survive. And we see the right time, we're going to start running Raw and SmackDown people to that NXT, and we're just going to run them right off the air.
Well, they've already done that a little bit too.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, there's a couple of the main roster, if you will, people that have moved down to NXT.
Well, but you haven't heard, Jeffrey, not to cut you off, but I will.
Nope.
This is what the big plan is to do. And I'm going to go ahead and expose it. I'm probably going to get a lawsuit tomorrow from Vince himself. But what they're going to do as soon as, because TNA's already done this little deal with TNA and AEW, it's going to do it's going to do what it's going to do when they feel it's the right time. They're going to put like a ball and chain and just sink them down to the bottom. What it's going to be is Vince is going to come on NXT and he's going to streak during the Super Bowl.
No.
Yep.
And see, now Sid
Sid,
spoiled it,
if that happens, I'll do something. I don't know. I got nothing right now. If that happens,
he's going to do that.
I'll bow down.
Well, that's what I heard.
I hope to everything that is a moment in TV history that we get. I hope there's a lot blurred, or maybe it's far away, but I just want the moment.
Never pointed out something here, and now this is something I didn't want to acknowledge because technically you shouldn't, but it's true. Never said Jericho has gotten so fat he looks like Greg Valentine. And
I swear, man, it looks like something. It's like something bad happened to that guy, like overnight.
That's
face,
not Chris
like
Jericho.
he's taking collagen injections or something.
He's done. He used to be a really good singer too, and you hear him sing live anymore, and it's he still sings live, but he sings live over his vocal track, and it's like that you can just tell by the way he sings, he's not in shape. He's winded a quarter of the way into that Judas song.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's still a cool gig, no matter what. But he is fat. He's got really fat, man.
There's a lot of comments suddenly going on about Shockmaster here, and I'm not quite sure how the topic online got onto Shockmaster. So I'm trying to go. Oh, here it is. Stuart started the thread. The only thing that will save AEW is if they debut the Shockmaster.
I'm going to tell you what. It would not hurt them. Honestly, I mean, way the business has changed, and they're looking for funny stuff now. I mean, it would be something. I mean, it'd be better than bringing out someone you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy's over now more than he ever was.
Shockmaster versus Luchasaurus.
Yeah, or no, Shockmaster versus the transgender guy.
Oh yeah, Sunny Kiss.
Sunny Kiss. I think that's who it is. No, not Sunny Kiss.
No,
bigger.
no, you transgender person. Nyla Rose.
Nyla Rose, yeah, Nyla Rose and
Nyla
that guy,
Rose.
yeah. And they would do it like in a string bikini, and then Vaseline up too with oil all over them.
I think I'll be watching Vince Streak.
You're right.
Pam has got a question here. In AEW, how similar do you think FTR is compared to Tully and Arn back in the day? And who do you think is better?
Oh, it's definitely Arn and Tully was better. Now, I think Tully's a horrible manager. You know, he's just no charisma. He never had the charisma. Of course, he was always a good worker. Arn, I think, carried the team a little bit, but Arn was always much better as far as the interviewer, charisma. You know, always had that swag. Where Tully was still a great worker. I'm guessing. Never saw him work. I'm guessing he was.
And on here, I'm thinking I missed a comment at some point. Chris made this laughing crazy faces, then said, screw it. So
Yeah.
if there was something you wanted to post and I missed, Chris, please post it again, because it is so hard to catch all these sometimes. Andy here, he said Jericho may be fat, but he would still kick my ass.
Yeah, probably so. Tell you what, Chris was, and I don't know this. I never fought with him, but he's supposed to have been a pretty tough guy. We talked about it, and I didn't see it, but I've been told by someone I really believe, Bruno Lauer, who told me the story. He said he was there. He could be lying about that too, but he said Chris Jericho beat up Bill Goldberg.
Last week, yeah.
Yeah, we heard that several times from other people.
I've heard that a couple times, just in the going down the YouTube rabbit hole, if you will. Again, I can't confirm anything, of course, but I've heard that for sure.
We did an episode of the podcast before we went live about rumors on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the best ones that we were able to debunk was about Sid and a squirrel. You remember
Do I want to ask?
I saw that in 3 different videos.
Of what? Me in a squirrel in my pants?
Yeah.
Really?
It was in 3 different videos. That's why I brought, if I'd seen it in one, I wouldn't have paid it any mind.
Right.
But it was in 3 separate videos.
Where was I at?
They never said. They just said that you were in the locker room and you had
Right. Well, I'm saying
squirrel.
you're not seeing a video of the squirrel in my pants.
Oh, no. These are 3
Right.
different people talking about the same
Right.
thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now, no, that never happened.
Yeah. Just so you know, Jeff, and it was so bizarre. They said that Sid traveled with a squirrel. Okay.
Yeah, squirrel.
Who would travel with a
I
squirrel?
did travel with some squirrels. Mike Rotunda.
Yeah.
It was squirrely.
They
But
were
no,
squirrely.
Bruno Lauer, Bob Holly. They were my buddies, but they were squirrels. Always hung around the riffraff in the business,
Well, those usually had the best time, right?
Yeah, they were the easy going, did what I said, was on time. I could yell at them. Stuff like that.
Nope, they're still talking about Shockmaster. Never says, I learned recently that if you listen closely to the Shockmaster debut on YouTube and turn the volume all the way up, when Shockmaster falls through the wall, you can hear Sid in the background laughing, saying, I fucking told you he'd do it. In reference to the 2x4.
Well,
you don't have to turn it up. You can hear it.
Well, the story was, I was there. I'll tell you again. We were going through rehearsal that day. We were standing at where they were going to build the wall for him to come through, and there's a 2x4 stud on the floor, like there always is when they're building a wall. And I told the carpenters that maybe you want to notch out that 2x4 off the floor when he comes through. He's going to have a helmet on. He's not going to be able to see. They said, "No, why don't you just mind your own business?" I said, "All right, yeah." So later that night, we're doing the deal. Boom! I said, "See, I told you."
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Joel's got a good question here for you. Why did WWE bury Sting?
I don't know. I always wondered that. when you see something like that, there was, especially I know Sting. Everybody knows that. Knows Sting, knows how he is. He hated. That was one of the things he did want to do is put people over. You know, I don't know why he would all of a sudden change his mind to come in for just a few shows. And then, from my understanding, I only heard this, where he was going to do a little bit. All of a sudden, he said his back was hurting or something like that from working with one of those guys and didn't want to do anymore. What I feel like happened was he just said, you know what, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. I've told the story about me being there, and I can see that happening to him and going, hey, this just isn't worth it, And I don't know. I'm just really guessing at that.
Craig's got one good. Jericho, 2 words, light beer.
No, that's not light beer, man. That's full blown all the way beer.
Some high calorie bubbly.
Cheeseburgers with that chasing him.
Let me see
He's
here.
been eating with Jake Hager. He just hasn't gone to the gym with him.
Yeah.
Looks like
okay.
somebody beat Jake up a few weeks ago. He had his eyes were all black and stuff.
Yeah, he because he still fights MMA and he had a fight.
Man, I hate to see the other guy.
Oh, the other guy, not good.
Are we talking Jake Roberts?
No, Jake Hager.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jake Roberts is in that MMA scene now. He's gonna pull a Phil Brooks and.
Oh shit, man.
No.
No, I always liked that Jack Hager, what his name was. The one time I did the anniversary show with him, where it was Fort Wayne and St. Louis, I had a chance to talk to him. I said, "Man, I've watched you. I really like you," because he's a hell of a worker for a big guy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So much. He just. But I said, I even asked him. I said, "What have you done here, man, to be where you're at?" Meaning, trying to help him say, get out of what you're doing and just think about yourself. What I wanted to tell him.
Oh,
But he's doing good now.
Yeah, he cut one hell of a promo this week with Jericho and MJF in the ring after that match. And that's one thing I've always been impressed with him, because he doesn't get on the mic much. But when he has those little moments of communication, whether he's talking or whether he just has that like little look to a camera or something,
Right.
I'm a theater guy, right? So I love that. I eat that up. And he seems to have that timing perfect. He doesn't.
Well,
fall over
everything's
himself.
good about it. His work is solid. He's real credible looking. And when he says something with all those things working together, you want to believe him, because his work is believable. Like I said, he's a machine. He's almost as good as Kurt Angle as far as working, but he's a little bit bigger. He's got that, unfortunately, just got that wrestler look, but still that slumped over shoulder type of deal. But still, man, he's a machine. A machine. That's the thing is too. Those are the kind of guys I've talked about. Those are the ones you want working for your territory or working with you, because they always work hard. Make very few mistakes. Don't get out of their box or their foot off the curb too often. When they do, they don't make mistakes. Still, they're real sure of themselves, and that's what you want. Solid, hard-working people. Looks like he's pretty. He's somebody you could trust in the business. I don't see him and say he's a problem. He's doing business. So I hope the best for that kid, that man, a grown up.
Well, and that confused me too. Like when Sting did come in for that same reason, when a talent is that good in one promotion, it should be that good in another.
Right.
And Stuart mentioned the fact that says because Sting is a WCW guy is why they pretty much buried him, because he said they also buried DDP.
Well, I'm real quick. They did bury DDP, and I'll tell you why. I know this 100% fact, because DDP told me this story himself. He's just coming to WCW. I was just about to leave to go to WWF the first time. We was just on a road trip like one day together, and that's all I could take. The guy's an idiot. I can't say I like him. I don't dislike him. He's just dumb. So he's telling me this deal where he goes, yeah, man, I tried to get it to Vince. I'm gonna get up there. I sent this video, this shot, or this this video where they made. It shows me and a convertible, the carload of good-looking girls going down the highway, and then I come busting out of the screen. They go, "Hey, I'm DDP, blah 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 blah." He goes, "I bet they think that's awesome," and stuff like that. I said, "Man, I bet they're fucking laughing at you right now. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard." I said, "You know this." I said, "They know before they ever meet you, they know if you're going to get over, if you're going to make any money or not. You don't have to do that." I said, I've never seen a video, never made a phone call to that place. And got a job within 2 seconds of calling the office. They called me. So again, it's like, you don't have to do all that to get a job, guys. Just do like Kurt Angle, just be there. But no, again, DDP is a good guy, but he's dumb.
Well, Craig followed up. He said WWE seemed to bury every WCW guy except Goldberg and Booker T.
Well, they did sort of bury Goldberg. They put him in that little spot and said, "Okay, this is all you can do. If you get outside of that, you're going to kill the territory." I'm just joking, sort of, not really. Again, and then they beat him just as bad as they let him beat Brock, and it was over. That they wanted that one little deal for that game, from my understanding. Now Booker T, I never really saw what they did with him. Be honest, I know he was in there, and I don't know. But when Goldberg came in, everybody watched that. So again, and that when Booker T went in, I just broke my leg and I wasn't watching wrestling, so I don't know what they did there. But I'm not saying, I can't say they made him the greatest thing in the business. They didn't do that, And Booker could have been one of those people that took the pennies on the dollar to get a job there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure. Don't know that, but I bet you that was one of the things, because they said if you didn't do that, that would. And they did that to people that didn't do that.
Mm-hmm. Chris Leffler here said Sting needed more RoboCop.
No, what it is, guys, Sting is this. Just like I've talked about, this is just another bad decision Vince McMahon made. Is this just like with talk about Sabu? For what he does, those hardcore matches, he's the best in the world at it. And if you got your business going, even if it's not, and you're trying to get your business going, you got somebody that does what he does. You go, okay, I want this guy on the card. We know he wants to win. He doesn't want to lose. Just put him with somebody that doesn't really matter a lot, but they have the same kind of match, and they do their match, and it steals the show every night for their type of match, right? Same thing with Sting. All right, we know he don't really want to. He's just an attraction. He wants to woo and do, and all right, let him do that, and he'll sell those tickets, and they'll sell the merchandise. Something happened there where Vince goes, you know what? You're gonna buck me, or you're gonna tell me, or do something. This is what happens to you. Just it wasn't Sting's fault. It was the business fault.
Okay, I can see
that. If you're a business guy, when you go, we only know this about this guy, I'm not going to come and bring him, just make him miserable. Sting was you're in WCW. That's like, it's not like it's working for one of the major corporations in the world. You went from that to working for a carnival, and they're wanting you to do what you don't want to do. You're not with your friends. You're by yourself. Again, you don't do that.
I remember you saying the big difference between those two companies. One was like a business, the other was like a carnival.
It was. It's not like it was.
So, yeah, I could see it. If I was stepping into that kind of position, I'd probably back out again really fast.
Yeah, well, again, you're older. You don't need to do it. Even if you do need to do it, you don't want to. And I talked to Sting a million times. He told me, he said, Sid, he said, do you still enjoy this? I said, yeah. He goes, man. He goes, I ache. Now, a few years after that, after I broke my leg and I was doing a show up in Canada, an independent show, and that was the first time I felt like I knew what he was talking about. After I did the show that night, for no reason, my whole body it was like total pain. And then did that afterwards. So I knew what he was talking about. So if you're going through that and all that other stuff, you're not having any fun, in WCW, before he went there, everything was so much fun. You're with your best friends, playing golf every day, blah, blah, blah. Now you're getting beat up by Roman Reigns, or not him, but Seth, whatever, Rollins. I think that was the guy who was hurting him every night. He said, you know what? Forget this, man. They don't appreciate this. I'm not having fun. They know what I really like to do. You know, that's just bad coaching. And I used to compare Vince to bad coaching. He was like one of those coaches in football. You had 15 seconds on the clock. You needed a touchdown right then. You had, 47 yards to go, too far for a field goal. Instead of, something creative, Vince would draw play, something they could stop. Good coaches are good coaches when you get a touchdown on that last deal, you got to play to send the troops in. Or a good general in the war. Vince isn't that. He's only good when he's winning. And we're all good when we're winning. I am. I'm good all the time.
William Cook asks, Sid, is it true that you got heat for kicking out of Hogan's leg drop? If so, what are your thoughts on Hogan going into business for himself and hurting others? Example would be kicking out of Vader's powerbomb leading into a pay-per-view.
The finishers are made to be kicked out of it. No, I never got heat for kicking out Hogan's power leg drop. No, I didn't. But no, finishers are made to be kicked out of at some point,
That's what builds heat.
Right. That's what sells tickets at some time.
Let me see here. Jeff Hahn says, when are you going to make an appearance in the Florida area? Well,
I don't know, man. Until you guys get rid of COVID down there, nobody's coming down there.
Here's one from Jamie Carlson. What did you think, Sid, when Ron Simmons won the WCW title? I was happy for him.
I was too. I think I brought that up. We were talking about Mount Rushmore a few months ago, that he should be on there for his wrestling, the first black world champion, And I think Bill Watts was the booker under that too.
And where was the other one here? Oh, this was just a comment, but it's kind of true. Joel Bateman said, Sabu doesn't really fit in with the WWE.
Well, he did it when it was going on, stupid. Don't be a smart ass to me on my own show. Hey, you're on the show. Unsign yourself.
That's it.
And we'll think about bringing you back, okay, smart ass? No, I said this was back when they were doing that show. They actually had a show called ECW. Remember that, Smarty? I know everything about the business. That's what's wrong with you internet trolls out there. You and Eric Widgeon out there at Cycle Sid Promotions. Keep to yourselves, all right? You know nothing. Remember this. When you're talking to me, even when I'm sitting down, you're looking up to me, okay? That's how it works. And I didn't deal you this hand in life. God did that, and it's Christmas. Figure that out,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Patrick Law's got a long one here. One invasion angle that might have worked would have been to bring the Road Warriors into the WWF in the midst of the Sid Vicious versus Hulk Hogan feud. Sid and Hogan could have teamed up to rid the WWF of the Warriors, who had, after all, captured the tag team titles of all the other major promotions by that time. Sid could have brought in Tojo Yamamoto and counter Paul Ellering. The AWA and the WCW would have had kittens when McMahon's guys defeated the tag team.
I'm gonna tell you what. Hire this guy. Is this the writer for the WWF or something?
Patrick Law.
Way to go, Patrick. That's a good together little short scenario. You could do something off of that. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not kidding you right now, and I'm not kidding you. That's better than some of the major angles I've seen presented to people in this business. I will give you one of them. This is no shit. The Shockmaster. I'm not kidding you. They didn't know where that was going, even if he would have made it through the wall. They didn't. Mm-hmm. Oz, another one. This is better, kid. You got a business. You got a future in this business. Or kid. I couldn't see the picture. Kid, man, young lady, or whatever.
The picture looked like
I know. Look like, yeah, he looks like a young kid. I like that kid.
There we go. Where was I? Just had one.
Well, I've said
here
the
it is.
future are the young people.
There, see. John here said, Sid, will you watch any of the upcoming season of Dark Side of the Ring?
Yeah, I always watch a little. I really, like I said, I really wanted to watch, and still think the best one was the Von Erichs. Just what a tragedy all that was. Yeah, I'll watch it. I'm sure they're not going to change. They'll get worse about trying to give some of these guys 15 minutes of fame to make themselves look stupid. Not to help anyone in the short or long run of things. You know, this is the thing is, if you're doing something like this, do something, give something back. You know, just like if, again, I'm not going to go into it. Stop. This is just another someone using wrestling business as a vehicle to profit off of it. And I'm just going to use one, for example, off the top of my head, one with the Road Warriors. You got the guy to come out there and talk about his partner, and then he passes away shortly after. And then the business just gets another, just a domino of rumors. What happened? Why did he do that? How did he do this? Was he another one? Blah, 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 blah. It just doesn't give the business a chance to breathe from just being pushed under the water. Again, it's just, there was like one guy a couple years ago, something all over HBO or Showtime. It's a comedy. I didn't like it, but at least it was a few minutes of talking about sort of the real stuff that needs to be talked about in the business. To somebody, who was I talking to the other day, talking about just the deaths of kid Jeff from California just in this past year, So again, they'll profit off of it. They'll tell some of these guys, they'll give them a call and go, hey, we're going to give you a few minutes of back on do the show Dark Side of the Ring. You know what the upside for you, sir? You're going to get your name back out there. And that's what these guys get. We're not going to do anything for the future. We're not going to try to help you, or we're not going to do a show that says, hey, you guys need help. You know what I mean? They're going to just say, we're going to profit. We're going to push you guys aside. We're going to do another group of you. Just like that. We're going to tell the same group, the other group, the same thing we're telling you. You know what? This is going to give you that next 15 minutes of fame, buddy. It's going to give you that push back to stardom. That's what these guys live off of.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I think that's exactly right. The one episode in the seasons that they've done that I would say, whether it was intentional or not, accomplished the opposite of that was the one that they did about the tragedy with Owen. Only
right?
Because...
No. There was good, and they were corny. We like say corny. I do corny stuff about wrestling. One about David Schultz. It was harmless.
I'm not sure it's what it.
But the Owen one was. I saw the one with Owen. It was really good. It did. At least it was somewhat positive. Then the one about Benoit, it wasn't bad or anything. It was just a little bit boring. And then it wasn't just about Benoit. You might have said it was about Benoit and Eddie Guerrero. It should have been both of them. That's pretty much what it was. Again. I think I've said this once before. I wish they would have at least edited one scene out of there. We know this happens, but when Vicky Guerrero said, she just left Eddie there to die, I wish they maybe left that out.
Yeah.
Because we know that happens, but again, it just solidifies what I'm saying. Yeah. They weren't smart enough to go, you know what, that's distasteful. Let's don't show that.
Yeah, that it's unnecessary for the story.
Right, exactly. So again, they're not. This just proves what I'm saying. They don't care about these guys. They're 15 minutes of fame, and you're doing that to them. That's pushing them underwater again. You're not lifting them out and go, hey, let's let you breathe for a second. No, that's not.
Yeah. The one thing I would mention about the Owen one, just in regards to what happened after, I think why it was significant that it happened, that they had Oj, especially the boy on there speaking about it, is because just a couple months prior, or the year prior when they had the Hall of Fame ceremony, you had Mark Henry up there, and of course him and Owen were very close, and he got emotional and he pleaded to the family to allow Owen into the Hall of Fame and all this stuff. And I think that kind of got a lot of fans emotional about the whole situation again, and wanting to have WWE celebrate Owen. And then when that episode came out and you heard just calm, cool, and collected, but raw emotional stances from Oj, from forgive me for it's Martha, his wife's name, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
I guess so.
Like when you heard those perspectives, I felt like it almost took that public heat, or maybe not heat, but public pressure off of them. To social media, like let Owen into the Hall of Fame, all this stuff. They kind of explained why, and they don't want that, and I don't think anybody could really argue with it at that point,
Right.
with the justification they provided. So I think that is probably one of the only noticeable healthy things that came out of these episodes, other than just telling these stories again, which again, I mean, they're doing them well. But I see what you're saying, kind of just maybe the ulterior motives are a little bit less genuine.
What's up, Sid?
Wow. You're right on the mark, Jeffrey. Wow. Rob, I'm checking our ratings on that segment there. Shit, I think we just died with NXT right there. I think we went into a 17% drop right there. Oh, okay. Great, Jeffrey. And if anybody's still listening, if anyone's still awake out there, you got a show going on here.
Feelings.
Never
Oh, man.
may have said, Internet Sid has arrived. Even the doctor says, I love Internet Christmas Sid. Show no mercy.
See, I was just trying to give you the silver platter to
Well,
buck that
I'll tell you what,
excitement back up.
I'm sitting here like one of those guys at USC. I'm looking at the clock going, can I make it this next 3 seconds? So I go, I couldn't tap. I was blacked out there. No, I was thinking,
I almost knocked out Sid.
I said, maybe he can finish the show. And if we just be quiet, he'll do the next 6 shows for us. Yeah, that was awesome, Jeffrey.
Curse of a front man. What can I say?
Right.
Here we go.
I bet people scream, bring on Macho Man.
Okay, brother.
Stuart asks, what's more important in professional wrestling today, and what is more favored, having mic skills or having in-ring ability?
I think they're
And
both
what about
important. It's just like saying is dieting and working out and fitness. What's more important? You got to do both. Same thing there. If you want to be on top, you got to do both. I think though, if you, let's say Chris Benoit, and Kurt Angle, their ring skills were much better than their mic skills, and that really put them to where they were in the business. So maybe having better ring skills than mic skills would put you in a better spot.
I can't argue with that.
Both those guys are hellacious, really got themselves there for the ability to wrestle, not be able to talk. And I don't think anyone did it any better by just wrestling. Ricky Steamboat's another one, not a great talker, but considered the best worker of all time.
Yeah, his promos, they were consistent.
Right. Boring.
But consistent.
Yeah. They were Rob Bellamy-like.
Right. Welcome, Internet Sid. Mark Kubal says, Sid, professional wrestling needs a reboot. You come out of retirement and I'll team up with you. We'll take on all the Young Bucks.
There you go. Well, our bodies would look just like the Young Bucks, so we could do that.
But there's only 2 of them, so that shouldn't be too hard, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Scott's loving this.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Craig says, Sid, have you ever read Lex Larry Luger's book, Wrestling with the Devil? It was pretty good, I thought.
No, I haven't. I'll be honest with you. I've never read another wrestler's book and never will. I know most of them. They were stupid when I met them and knew them. I'm sure their book would be just as stupid, if not more stupid. I can't think of any smart wrestlers other than myself. No, just kidding. No, honestly, I know the guys. Why would I? And then I'd read it and go, God, they're lying about everything. Now I could hear that all. Like Jeff from out of California, he's like one of these marks on the internet. He calls me yesterday, Sid, Virgil's talking about you. And I was like, Virgil talks about everybody. Virgil's like retarded, you know. I'm not kidding. I love him. He's a nice guy. It's like, you know, you're like, you know, you see a dog on the side of the road, you feed him, you feel bad for him, but you don't pet him, right? That way, you get away from him, you do that. But no, Virgil's like that. I've seen him like in the corner talking to himself, like, yeah, I don't see that's the way. It's like he's crazy. He's weird. You don't talk to people like that. You don't fuck with them, you know. But no, what was the question?
I actually forgot. What was
No, wait, let's just end it there. Go, next question. Okay.
Okay.
Check yourself out, whoever said that question, and ask to get back in next week.
Right.
Yeah.
Tom here says, I can see Sid powerbombing Jeff for trying to put him to sleep. Oh, what was the other one?
I would take that bump any day. I wouldn't get up, but it would be a story if I could.
Oh, here we go. Chris has got the match. RoboCop versus Shockmaster.
That's it, man. They're both the careers in the wrestling business was about the same length. And they both have about the same culture. I mean, following, you know, they both had the same amount of wrestling time. That's a good man. Who is that?
That was Chris Leffler.
Okay, Chris, you're getting up there. You're good.
Oh, there we go. Scott says, I'll buy that for $1.
No kidding. I think we all will. For $1, you got that. You got that.
Adam Hansen says, I'm just an indie guy, and I sold more merch at the show I did with Virgil.
I know, man. No kid, he is. But again, Virgil's a nice guy. He really is. Harmless, you know, but he is goofy. And so this guy calls me and says, Virgil's online talking about you on Twitter. I'm thinking, Virgil talks about, I see Virgil like in the hallway talking to himself about someone down the hall. Yeah, look at Sid. He thinks he's something right. Yeah, I'll break his leg like a twig. You know, of course he says that to people. You know, I can't beat up every retarded person I see.
Craig says, I almost got in a fist fight with Virgil in Connecticut. Oh, douchebag.
See, I don't have to knock Virgil. Everyone else will.
Oh,
No, what it was too. Now, everybody will love this. Jeffrey, the guy Jeff. Jeff says that Virgil tells tweets or something says that he was a cornerstone of the business, and that's what. Now he probably was working, managing and working on the road with Ted DiBiase. Ted probably said that one night, and Virgil probably put himself in the same equation, because Ted was stupid like that. Ted always put him saying stuff like, "I'm the cornerstone of the business." No, you're a job guy, Ted, with a bad body. You're on your way out. He's a stooge. Ted was a big stooge.
I never ever met him.
Yeah, well, he's one of those guys who's God as a pulpit, as a crutch. Of course, he's put on the road with me, to see that I didn't get in any trouble. And this is after he'd been caught having an affair and took, religion out. And man, me and Bob Holly, so I won't put anyone on the bus. Yeah, me and Bob Holly, everyone, we'd have to watch him to get him to the room where he wouldn't chase some ugly fat woman. I hate saying that, but just another woman. And a couple times we had to pull him away. I told you a story about he did invite himself into a wedding. I think we were in Canada. And me and Bob sitting there watching him, and this guy sits down next to us, and he ends up being a private investigator. And he tells us that he's there to investigate this guy who's married, that they're at the wedding to meet this woman. And long story short, I get the guy over to take a picture with him and ask him what he's doing here. And the private investigator films this, right? And here's the guy. I said, "Are you married? Is this your wife?" "No, this is my friend." I go, "Are you married?" He goes, "No." And then so the guy gets all this and goes, I'm sure the guy hates me, whoever I filmed doing this to. But we did that waiting on Ted to come out of a wedding one night.
Oh, man.
True story. So somewhere I've worked as a private investigator in Canada.
A man of many talents.
Man.
Who needs the Dos Equis guy?
Exactly, man. I love the sake commercials, man. I can parallel park a yacht, He just don't fight me out of kindness, out of respect,
Oh, here we go. Andy says, Virgil is currently my butler.
There you go.
Oh
No,
man.
Virgil was one of these guys too. It wasn't. It had to be. If you thought everyone was dumb that did this, you would think everyone was dumb. But Virgil, one of those guys, like that night I was doing that night where I smashed his face into the turnbuckle. Broke his nose supposedly. It was like a 15-second gig. It was walk out, just I beat him up, push his face into it once or twice, and that's it. And we say we get a TV like 1 o'clock. He kept coming to me, every 15 minutes. Hey, how are we going to do this? And Virgil, stop. It takes like 30 seconds to do this. I'm not going to go over this again with you,
Oh, we have some more information on the Craig fighting Virgil story. It says, me, Brian Knobs, and Sherry Martel got Virgil so pissed he wanted to fight us all. Me and Knobs couldn't quit laughing at him.
No, I'll tell you, Knobs gave him crap all the time. A lot of people gave him crap, because he was an easy target,
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for joining us today.
No, absolutely. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Sid. This has been awesome, even though Sid pretty well buried me, but
Man,
it was an honor. It was an honor.
Well, I appreciate it. We do really appreciate you coming in and being a sport about everything, Jeff. And maybe some night, if you're not doing anything, we'd love to have you back sometime.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. I would love to. I'd love to.
All right. Well, man, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and your family.
So, Merry Christmas, Sid. Thank you very much. Rob, same to you. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
You got it, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right.
Talk to you soon.
Don't let the backdoor Santa get you tonight, Clarence Carter.
All righty, there we go. I do see Macho Man Randy Santa here. Let's try and bring him on. Hopefully this works. We've been having some computer problems, so I'm hoping this works.
Can I take a 2-second break, P?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll bump you out while we talk to Macho Man Randy Santa. And are you there? Macho Man Randy Santa, are you there? See, in the North Pole, with all the weather, the internet is not the best. I don't think we have Santa online right now. Okay. I am going to back him out. I apologize, everybody. Oh, wait. Let's try this again. There he is.
You're going to try it again. I am way upstairs, my man, and everything is downstairs. I cannot get a signal down there.
Very
Let's
good.
Let's go for a run and see what happens.
Okay.
I had to cut through somehow. Let's travel through the old worky shop. See what
The elves
happens.
are short. We can't see them.
Let's see. Yes, that's right. Let's see how long this is going to last here. Hey, look at that.
There we
We're
go.
good for a couple minutes, aren't we?
And there's Sid. Look who we got. Macho Man Randy Santa's back.
All right, man. Good.
Well, hello, yeah.
So now, as you know, when we got done our episode last week, I jumped on really quick and I said, we got some gifts from Macho Man Randy Santa. All you had to do was comment. I took all of those
That's
names
right.
and gave them to Santa.
Lucky you. Yes, I did. Yes, you did. And I've got every one of them things right here, and I'm hoping not to drop them. You know what? This is going to be a tough one. Very, very tough one. Because I
Those are the
cannot
names?
turn it. Actually, wait a minute. Let's do it just this way. This is the easiest way to watch this. For anybody that wants to see, I know I'm sorry it's hard to see, but they're all there.
Wow,
We
that's
need
cool.
5 names. We need 5 names, guys. All in here. There was like 50 or so.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So let's see who we got. We've got 2 right here, right off the bat. So, wait a minute. We've got 3. We've got a Mr. Douglas O'Shea. Yeah. How about you give us a dingle and serve with a Macho Man to see all of these things? I'm sure you can. There we go. And we've got John Donaldson. There's another one.
Those mittens don't look very much for picking up small pieces of paper.
No, they're not, good sir. Who else
This is
do we
almost like
got?
the remake of the show. I bet that movie ever watched out, A Christmas Story.
Andromeda Maria, you're the next one, number 3. We need 2 more. Let's see if we can do this. Get this done, eh?
We got this. You got this,
Get that up
Santa.
and above. Sure we do. I dropped it, but that's the one I dropped. Who would this be? This is terrible, but not much we can do. Eric Packlin, I think. Sorry, this is not the greatest guy, the greatest thing in the world. I'm not good at this, but what do you do?
That's what
You're
the
doing
elves are
great.
doing.
One more.
You're doing
Yeah,
great.
let's try
man.
one more. What we're trying here, grab one, eh? You know what? Here, I grabbed 2, so we're going to do 2 more. We have got Jeff Burton. And we have got Miss Charlene Rogers. Yeah.
Nice.
Everybody got those. You know what? Let's go one more. What the heck? Who else? Somebody else wants one. Here.
People are wondering what the gifts are, and Never Here says, I bet he gives them Slim Jims.
Dustin LaSalle. Yeah. There you go. If you can PM some addresses, any which where, you can PM me, you can PM that man right there. Leave Sid alone. He's a very busy man. And we'll get them out to you just ASAP. My apologies, everybody, for all the delays and everything like that, but I couldn't help it.
You have just traveled around the world.
I had a very, very long day yesterday, so what do you do? Everybody knows who I am anyway. I'm good to go. Thank you very much for having me, guys. Merry Christmas, everybody. And I hope you have a better new year than this year. Well, you have to. You have to have a better year than this year. Merry Christmas, all! Dig it! Oh, yeah! From the Macho Man Randy Santa, the Vicious Circle Podcast, and everybody around. Yeah. Thank you very much. Dig it!
Thank you so much,
That's
Randy.
awesome, man. It's always good to see Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh man, he is so cool.
He is, and everybody. I've had so much good feedback about him.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I like that guy. He's good.
Like you said, I bet they're giving him Slim Jims. That's what it is.
I bet that's what it is.
No.
But you know, it's nice to just have your name put out there. You know, have someone thinking about you. You know, it's nice that he did that.
Exactly. And if you watch his video that he put out on his page, he shows you like there's some wrestling toys, there's some Funko Pop things that he's given out. So
Right.
he is being very generous, and I can't wait to see what goes out.
Well, I wish I had known what he was doing. We could have maybe sent him some stuff or a couple things. You know.
Yeah. Well, maybe Macho Man Randy Santa can visit us next year.
Exactly.
Excellent. Okay, Sid, any last words?
Well, just a happy Merry Christmas and New Year to everyone. Maybe we'll do a New Year's podcast as well. You know, this like Macho Man Santa Claus just said, let's try to have a better year this year, everyone, than we had last year. And let's forget about grudges we have against someone this year and put it past us. And let's, you know, look at our friends and our neighbors as just that, friends and neighbors from now on, and try to take on a different approach to life. And I want to say for this Christmas, just a few people, Merry Christmas, my son Frank and Gunnar, my wife Sabrina, and my grandson Raylan Cole Udi.
You've been listening to the Vicious Circle Podcast. Your host, Sid Udi. Co-host, Rob Bellamy. Additional research by Pete Marsh. The Vicious Circle Podcast is produced by Two Cousin Road Trip Productions, a division of JX3 Media Productions. The intro music is Unleash the Giants by Cemetery Spawn, and the outro music is Digging Space by Mike Treble.